business owners and independent contractors. Get affordable insurance with Sagicor Pro Shield. The time by Sagicor Life is
7 o'clock. CVM News at 7 headlines Tuesday, courtesy of Heart NSTA Trust, Jamaica's Human Development Agency.
Tonight in CVM News at 7, Jamaica's agriculture and fisheries sectors facing huge losses following Tropical Storm Raphael. Disgruntled workers at Secrets Hotel protest for better working conditions. Students struggling academically due to internet addiction. And veterans honoured in Savlamar. Also this evening, in the Business Report, a new model for medical equipment procurement. While in sports, millions to be paid out to Olympians and Paralympians.
From Kingston, Jamaica, this is CVM News at 7. I'm Nika Lewis. It's Tuesday, November 12, 2024. Thanks so much for joining us. Jamaica's lifeblood sectors, agriculture and fisheries, are again reeling tonight as staggering losses from Tropical Storm Raphael mount. With nearly $621 million in damage reported across the island, there is something happening because in Parliament on Tuesday, Agriculture Minister Floyd Green outlined the full scope of this agricultural dilemma and the government's urgent plan to aid the industries. With more, here's Ramon Gordon.
Jamaica's agriculture and fisheries sectors are grappling with huge losses following Tropical Storm Raphael, with preliminary damage estimates reaching $621 million. Agriculture Minister Floyd Green reports that the storm's heavy rains and flooding have severely affected crucial farming parishes, including Manchester, Clarendon, St. Elizabeth, St. Anne, St. Mary, St. Catherine, and Westmoreland. An estimated 364 hectares of crops were destroyed, accounting for $200 million in crop losses alone.
Flood rains from Tropical Storm Raphael have really come at the worst possible time. Again, unfortunately, we've seen some losses to our banana farmers, our vegetable farmers. 188 hectares have been destroyed, affected about 1,640 farmers, and legumes, about 38 hectares that have lost about $2.8 million in losses.
Livestock losses are tallied at $31 million, primarily in the poultry sector. Thousands of birds along with pigs, cattle, goats, and bees were lost to the storm's effects. Also significant is damage to farm roads.
Estimated cost of road repairs stands at about $382 million, affecting 191 farm roads, which are critical to transporting goods and farms to market.
Despite ongoing challenges, the government is pressing ahead with recovery efforts to support the battered sector, still reeling from Hurricane Beryl's billion-dollar impact in July. Green says his ministry's Rural Agriculture Development Authority, RADA, has teams on the ground advising farmers on crop management amid ongoing rain warnings.
One of the things that I will say is that all of this is preliminary because we know, Mr. Speaker, the rains continue. And the Meteorological Service has issued an advisory for increased rainfall this week. And as such, we've asked the RADA team to stay out in the field before we outline a comprehensive program of response to see what other damage is caused by these systems that are still out there.
The ministry will utilize its production incentive program to fund initial assistance under the Raphael response. As part of a broader support strategy, $90 million has been allocated to bolster vegetable production, alongside $129 million for fisheries.
This has been a challenging year for all our farmers and fishers. We all, Mr. Speaker, can play a part. And the best way to play a part is for the month of November And for every single month, when we go out to purchase, we support our farmers by eating Jamaican. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, members.
Ramon Gordon for CVM News.
Employees at Secret's Wild Orchid in St. James staged a protest today, calling attention to what they describe as inhospitable working conditions. To tell us more, here's Britannia Witter.
Another month, another protest. Workers at the Secret's Wild Orchid in Montego Bay abandoned their duties to protest what they say are poor working conditions, including inadequate wages, excessive hours, and a lack of basic benefits. The protest, which took place on Tuesday morning, follows a similar demonstration at the Royal Tonic Grill in October and signals a growing unrest among the hospitality workforce. The workers gathered outside the resort, waving signs as they chanted, The workers, some of whom claim they have been employed at the hotel for over a decade, say that despite previous calls for action, conditions have only worsened, with many employees being forced to work overtime without compensation or receiving wages that do not meet the rising cost of living.
They have people who they work in a department, so they work over the space of time and work all a month and nothing up here. You have people who they work all for 3-4 man, them do 4-man work. And we now see 3-4 man money. You see me? We have times, Virgin, where we are overwork ourselves. People all collapse, Virgin, and we not hear nobody not push out, not sympathize with my friend. We not get no good health, we not get no rest, we can't talk. You see me? If we talk, we lose we job.
We want more money, man. So they have to work out something for it. Yeah, man, because see how much somebody there, how much years, people there are 12, 13 years, and it can't build a house. I rent they have to pay. That can't hurt my boss, man. They have to do something, boss. And we tired of it. We tired of it, daddy. Tired of it. Tired of it, my boss, because we have to work hard. And we overwork.
Insisting the situation is unbearable, they demanded a visit from the tourism minister.
Less than $2 hour USD. And we can't take that because hand to mouth, it can't walk at all. It can't work. We need Mr. Bartlett.
This led to brief negotiations between workers and hotel management. Senior advisor and strategist in the Ministry of Tourism, Delano Seavright, was also on the scene. He said the workers' concerns are being heard and the situation will be resolved.
The tourism industry cannot survive without workers. And our workers are a part of Brand Jamaica. They build up Brand Jamaica, they make Jamaica what it is. So we want to ensure that they're properly taken care of. And I'm reassured with the conversations that I've had with management. I'm reassured of the conversations we have had with staff that things will return to normality. But also we will have follow-up meetings with them to ensure that the grievances and the concerns are addressed. Not all of them will be addressed overnight, but I believe that most of them will be settled within the coming weeks.
Guests at the resort also appealed to management on the workers' behalf.
I think the workers work really hard, so they should get, the right salary package. Management sometimes are a little bit too greedy.
The crew here is amazing. If these people want more money, give more money. Right? They run this place, they feed you, they clean up after you. They deserve it. They deserve it, man. Right?
Britannia Witter, CVM News.
Still in the Westmoreland police are investigating the fatal shooting of 28-year-old Iwayne Bennett, also known as Mad Dog, and to the wounding of another man inside a bar in Petersfield on Sunday night. Bennett, originally from St. James, had relocated to Petersfield years ago after gang violence forced his family to flee. Police reports indicate Bennett and 2 others were playing a poker machine when a gunman entered, opened fire and fled. Bennett was later found dead in a nearby swamp, while the injured man was hospitalized in serious condition. The Westmoreland Custos Hartley Perrin has urged residents to work with the police to curb crime.
There is cause, again, for concern. And it signals to us that there is still work to be done. And the citizens of Westmoreland ought to realize that they will have to do their part in ensuring that when criminals behave as they do, they furnish information to the police. And even before, if possible, so that these persons can be apprehended and brought to justice.
During the COVID-19 pandemic, many Jamaican students who were otherwise without a device to access the internet were soon granted access, mainly for online classes. While that was intended for good, a recent study found that across the world, more and more students 18 and older are becoming internet addicts, reducing their quality of education and mental wellness. We pick up the story on cyber psychology in Jamaica. Internet, a tool intended for humanity's expansion and comfort, has somehow found a way to reduce mankind's growth and well-being when used excessively or for the wrong reasons. A recent study in Jamaica found that some 40% of the population 18 or older wrestle with internet addiction, being detained for hours with their devices and its pleasures. Our most vulnerable and impressionable minds were not spared.
52% of our Jamaican students that we surveyed are internet addicted. 50% of our students. Oh yeah.
What age group did you start? What was the band?
At 18 years old. We're talking about those who are 18 years old. And these are students who are attending universities, colleges, etc. And they're hooked on the internet. But those who are part-time, 63% of them are addicted to the internet. Those who are unemployed, 50% of them are hooked to the internet. And at least we are not so bad. About 25% of those who are full-time employees are hooked to the internet.
What was intended as a way of providing greater access to education and various learning tools has become cause for concern.
We are destroying our future, the children, and it means that the quality of education that they ought to be receiving, they are not receiving. Because think about it, if you are addicted to the internet, how are you concentrating on school as you ought to? Because half of your mind is towards internet. The other half is dealing with other things, including school. So we're not getting the best of our children who are attending school. The quality of education that they ought to be receiving is far less than they are receiving, because half of their mind is on internet activities.
Sadly, he says, even if students or younger children were to be sent outside and their devices taken away, there'd be few to none outside to play with. Dr. Bourne explains this is not unique to Jamaica.
We are at a stage where we are heading towards a pandemic. It's an epidemic in Jamaica, but it's also a pandemic because it also happens in many other places. 35% of Americans are addicted to the internet. 30% of Jamaicans. That tells you something, that we are no far off. In Bangladesh, it's 27.1%. We're no far off. We're almost at the same place in terms of this drug called the internet.
Fortunately, cyber psychology not only explores how the More to come from CVM News at 7 after this break. At 7 headlines Tuesday, courtesy of Heart and STA Trust, Jamaica's Human Development Agency.
Do whatever the crunch you want with KFC's popcorn chicken. Delicious, juicy, irresistible. Now available in barbecue. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
Oreo and Coca-Cola just became besties. Taste the new limited editions while they last.
CVM News at 7 Tuesday, brought to you by KFC.
KFC's popcorn chicken, now available in barbecue. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
Welcome back. As the annual Take a Child Home for Christmas program emerges, apprehension surrounding the mental well-being of children during this time heightens. Children's advocate Diane Gordon-Harrison, while speaking on CVM News at noon, says while the program is well-intentioned and can be beneficial, She shared some of her concerns and recommendations while calling on the community to be more supportive towards Jamaica's children. Courtney Lewis has more.
The Take a Child Home for Christmas program has sparked much debate. The program allows families to host children of the state for a day or during the Christmas season and retransition into the system after. But Jamaica's children's advocate Diane Gordon Harrison is voicing her concerns about the program's mental impact.
The child could be sad going back to the institution, or may be depressed, or may have some anxiety, or may feel as if they're missing out. And all of these feelings are valid, and if not supported and attended to, I think with the proper intervention, it could lead to problems.
She says calls have been made to move away from institutionalization and recommend psychological aftercare and foster care expansion.
There could perhaps be some consideration to build out, having foster parents, perhaps new ones. Probably we don't have enough foster placements. Maybe that's it. But looking at more permanent placements that really serve to remove children from the institutions, ones that can be done in a very safe and cohesive manner so that the disruptions are kept at a minimum.
But an even greater concern for children's safety and mental health looms as the holiday season approaches. The OCA seeks to diminish this through helplines, care packages, and therapeutic camps.
For me, one of the things that we really pay attention to is the ability of children and teenagers to cope at this time if they have any concerns that magnify feelings of less than that sometimes come to the fore at this time.
Gordon Harrison maintains child protection and safety is a collective responsibility.
The best kind of support I think members of the public can give is to first recognize that they are foot soldiers, they are the eyes and the ears of the institutions in their communities, and we ask them to use their eyes and ears very usefully to assist us with disrupting any unsavory conditions.
Courtney Lewis for CVM News.
An 82-year-old retired entertainer's trip to the dentist has reportedly transformed his life in a most miserable way, leaving him with more than just a broken smile. Now he's speaking out and contemplating legal action after the experience allegedly left a lasting mark on his life. Shante McNeil has this story.
Botched. It's one way to describe a dental procedure meant to fix a chipped tooth, but instead of an expected simple fix, a swollen face, shattered confidence, and marred personal life were the results. It's the story of 82-year-old Douglas Berlacci, a retired entertainer now contemplating legal action against a dentist he claims did more harm than good, trying to fix his chipped front tooth. The problem, he says, began late last year.
Last Christmas, I went to a dinner and I saw a juicy piece of curry goat, which I don't cook, but when I see it, I love it. Took it up and bit it. And my two incisors there, they chipped off the tail ends. And I know that friends of mine have done this. They have fixed their two, chipped teeth and so. So a girlfriend advised me, say, go over that dentist place.
An advice he regrets as months later, he claimed that the veneer inserted by the dentist fell out in his dinner plate. He claims that when he went back to complain, he was quoted a hefty price, which he refused to pay.
When I looked at the two teeth, no problem. They look a little bigger than my normal teeth, but no problem. When I reached home the evening, I had to take 2 Panadol because I had a splitting headache and I had to nurse myself to sleep. The next day, I can show you the pictures on my phone, and some other friends' phone, my face was out there. All I went to do was fix the chipped teeth. I phoned her and she invited me down, the dentist, and she said she'd give me Augmentin, which is an antibiotic. I bought it and it went down. About a week after that, I noticed the tooth which I have here, which fell
We apologize for the absence of audio in that insert. We'll try to get it back for you later on. But stay with us because there's much more to come after this break.
Sports ready cash will give to you 10 hands for baking 9 party tickets 8 phones are ringing 7 air fryer 6 cash back 5 shopping sprees 4 smart TVs 3 100 grand 2 200 grand and a big check for 500 G's.
Take a Quartz Ready Cash loan of $55,000 or more between now and December 26th for a chance to win one of 55 amazing prizes. Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act. Quartz Ready Cash, ready when you are. Conditions apply.
That's it. We're closed. I am so sorry. We only have 3 parties left.
It's a Jamaican thing, but full of flavor. Hey. We set the trend style major. Juicy patty, happy savor. You know the party nice when we do the juicy patty bones. Patty bones, patty bones, watch your bones, watch your bones. Hot patty, watch your steam. Juicy patty bones, patty bones, patty bones, watch your bones, watch your bones. Juicy patty, ready for we go. From food I keep in our party. Juicy patty, have something for everybody. So patty for nice. Patty bones, watch your bones, watch your bones. Hot patty, watch your steam. Juicy patty bones. Grab your family and do the juicy patty bones.
Welcome back. Yesterday was observed as World Poppy Day or Veterans Day, and the town of Savlamar was transformed into a military parade honoring the valor of the soldiers gone but not forgotten. Adrian Williams shares this bugle of honor with us.
Each year, worldwide, to honor all military veterans, November 11 is observed as Veterans Day, formerly known as Armistice Day. The poppy flower, lacing fields with grandeur, symbolizes death, sleep, and rebirth. Cadets standing guard at the Veterans Monument in Savlamar and the uniform groups forming a guard of honor lining the Great George's Street to commemorate Veterans Day in the city. Custos for Savlamar, Hartley Perring, reminisces not only on the fallen soldiers, but on the impact of wars on nations.
It's a day that we remember that war is not good. And remember the wars that continue. Wars in Ukraine, war in Haiti, war in the Middle East. And we're hoping, as the scripture says, that the day will come when the instruments of war will be transformed into pruning hooks and spears, no more, but agricultural implements. And as one song says, so that we will study war no more.
Mayor of Savlamar, Dan Delancey, sees this year's commemoration as a success.
We had our service at the St. George's Anglican Church here in Savlamar, which was well attended. And like what was said, or according to what was said by Custos Perrin, it is the biggest turnout he has seen for Armistice Day celebration.
Ironically, the Custos sees the country as a peaceful nation, despite the criminal infractions faced by many citizens daily.
But we are still a peaceful nation. And what today does is to celebrate that peace and hope that as long as there is life in Jamaica, we will continue to be a peaceful society and a peaceful nation. God bless Jamaica, land we love.
Adrian Williams reporting for CVM News.
Now to regional and international news.
We begin with news in the region. Annually, 1/3 of global homicides occur in the Latin America and the Caribbean regions. This alarming statistic was revealed at the Crime in Latin America conference, being hosted by the International Monetary Fund and the Inter-American Development Bank in Washington, D.C. We hear more from TTT News.
President of the Inter-American Development Bank, Ilan Golfan, said vigorous research on crime and violence is important so the issues can be better understood.
The impact of crime in Latin America and the Caribbean is enormous, both in terms of life lost and unrealized economic development. We know no nation is entirely free from crime and violence, but the problem in Latin America is in another dimension.
First Deputy Managing Director at the International Monetary Fund, Geeta Gopinath, put Mr. Golfan's statement into context.
If you look at the region, it represents about 10% of the world's population, but it makes up for 1/3 of the world's homicide rates. So as you can see, this is a grim reality for the region. And it's not just a public safety issue, but also a very big issue for economic prosperity and economic development.
In Barbados, government is proposing the establishment of a tribunal for people with disabilities. This is one of the essential measures included in the draft Rights of Persons with Disabilities Bill. CBC News Barbados has that report.
People with disabilities facing discrimination amid other issues will be able to take their complaints to a tribunal. This will come about because provisions for the establishment of a tribunal have been included in the draft Rights of Persons with Disabilities Bill. National Disabilities Advocate Senator Andwele Boyce touched on the tribunal while explaining features of the draft bill during an education, sensitization, and awareness building workshop.
So we have, as Minister has indicated, a comprehensive piece of legislation. And one of the things that is going to be necessary is an enforcement body, right? Who do you take complaints to for breach of the law? Much in the same way that we have an employment rights tribunal, and we have an NIS tribunal and that kind of a thing, the bill proposes to establish a tribunal that hears complaints under the bill. So if a person with a disability thinks that they are the victim of disability discrimination.
And in international news, Haiti has sworn in a new prime minister hours after a flight from the United States was hit by gunfire as it made its final approach to the capital Port-au-Prince. Alex Didier Filzami was formally appointed on Monday by a presidential council after it fired the Caribbean nation's interim prime minister, Gary Conille. We turn to Al Jazeera.
A political and security crisis has spiraled out of control in Haiti since the killing of President Jovenel Moïse 4 years ago. There's no elected government or parliament in the country. Gangs continue to expand their hold of the capital, Port-au-Prince, and elsewhere, leaving death and destruction. Last April, a transitional presidential council was set up to lead Haiti towards elections. It appointed Gary Conille as interim prime minister. But on Monday, the same council fired him and installed Alex Didier Filzami, a businessman who promises to hold elections as soon as possible.
We will work towards social cohesion, a necessary condition for the restoration of the state and the holding of inclusive, transparent, and democratic elections. Only this will grant the state legitimate and constitutional authority.
But on the streets of the capital, gangs seem to be the only authority, fighting the police and Kenyan forces sent in by the United Nations to help restore security. The United Nations mission is underfunded and outgunned. The UN says it's concerned.
And that's it for regional and international news.
Stay with us for the business segment after this break.
KFC's popcorn chicken, now available in barbecue. KFC, it's finger licking good. The time by KFC is 7:30.
Improving our relationship with you.
The Passport Immigration and Citizenship Agency, PICA, is improving its relationship with you, our valued customer. Our new customer relationship management system will help us to better understand your needs, communicate with you, and address your issues faster. Contact us online and let us help you. The new system is a joint project of PICA and the Transformation Implementation Unit.
Improving our relationship.
Building a better public sector for all.
Whatever the crunch you want with KFC's popcorn chicken. Delicious, juicy, irresistible. Now available in barbecue. KFC, it's finger licking good.
Welcome back. Now to the Business Report with Joel Crosskill.
Lots to share with you in the Business Report today. Financial engineering firm Qantas, whose tagline expresses the ambition of connecting capital to opportunity, is now seeking a deeper entanglement with the health sector following the recent launch of its Qantas Solution Leasing Company, an entity designed to drive investment into essential equipment pivotal to the Caribbean's economic growth. The attraction to the sector as one of latent opportunity was described by Dr. Adrian Stokes, CEO of the Qantas Financial Group.
Globally, and our region is no exception, we're seeing birth rates falling. So technically, we're headed for a population that is aging. We're seeing a rise in non-communicable diseases. And then what's happening is that the ability to invest in modern equipment to improve healthcare facilities, that ability is constrained. And that is creating a serious well-being problem. And that's what we want to do. We want to use financial innovation to channel capital in innovative ways.
The Qantas Solution CEO introduced a suite of leasing solutions, enabling businesses to secure critical equipment without the strain of large upfront capital investment.
We'll take a private healthcare facility, a healthcare provider. Let's say they want to procure, or said differently, they want to purchase a piece of equipment. They can't afford it. They'll come to us and indicate that need. We'll understand the specifications that they require. We will speak with one of the leading manufacturers. We will procure the equipment, in other words, purchase the equipment, own the equipment, and then lease the equipment to the healthcare provider. But not just that, we will also purchase the full maintenance program for the equipment.
We do apologize for the quality in that audio insert, and we take a quick break. We make way for sports with Orville.